let's start at the quarterback position. We know that we're without, a lot of people. Matt Stafford's been injured, Kyler Murray's been injured, but you say there's a few people we can count on, one of which may be even available on the waiver wire.
Yeah, let's start off with Dak Prescott, though. Certainly not going to be available on the wire, but a guy who, even though the Cowboys lost last week, which I'm still kind of not over, he had over 19 fantasy points. And he's got a really good matchup this week against the Vikings. Their defense has allowed 17 plus fantasy points to 5 quarterbacks, including 3 who've gone over 19. This should be a high scoring game. Start Dak Prescott, and the quarterback you mentioned who could be on the waiver wire, Daniel Jones. Like, I get it. He's inconsistent, okay? But the Giants are winning games, surprisingly or not, and he has scored 18 plus points in 2 of his last 3 games. He's got the Lions coming up next. They've allowed 6 quarterbacks to score more than 18 points, including 5 with more than 24 and 2 who've gone over 31. So this is a really good spot for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but the Giants are actually in second place in the NFC East. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Let's talk about quarterbacks. We're going to sit, again, another waiver wire ad, and someone whose team just can't seem to win, and he even got emotional about it this week, and you say doesn't look positive for him to put up a lot of stats this week for you either.
And that's Derek Carr, and I'm a fan of him as a person and as a quarterback. He's actually had a couple of good games in a row, 18 plus points in 2 straight games. But look at his numbers historically against Denver. They're terrible. He is averaging 12.5 fantasy points in 16 career games against Denver. So you want to fade him. There's not a lot of Raiders to like this week outside of Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. And then Matt Ryan, who had a very good game last week. He was a top 5 fantasy quarterback. Thank you, Jeff Saturday, by the way, for bringing him back. But I don't love the matchup against the Eagles. No team in the league has allowed fewer fantasy points to quarterbacks. So maybe you can pick up Matt Ryan. I'm not playing him in traditional 1 quarterback leagues.